Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our first news is Marc Guehi transfer twist as Liverpool targets agent jets out for a meeting. Marc Guehi was heavily linked with a move to Liverpool on deadline day, but Crystal Palace pulled the plug on a £35 million deal at the last minute. Liverpool have been dealt a slight blow to their hopes of signing Marc Guehi. The Crystal Palace defender was on the Reds' radar during the summer transfer window, but a deal failed to materialise. Liverpool had agreed to sign Guehi from the Eagles for £35 million on deadline day. As Oliver Glasner and Steve Parish clashed over the England international's future, he underwent a medical in London. The Palace chairman decided against losing another key player, having already sold Eberechi to Arsenal, and consequently cancelled the deal. Now, unless Guehi renews his contract at Selhurst Park, he'll be up for grabs on a free transfer at the end of the season. For now, Liverpool can do nothing. From January, overseas clubs will be able to start pre-contract discussions with the Palace skipper. Liverpool, along with every other English club, must wait until he enters the final month of his contract in May. Sky Sports Germany reports that Bayern Munich's director of sport, Max Eberl, recently met with Guehi's agent, Gordon Stipik. It said that the Bundesliga champions are now in the running to secure the Englishman's signature, but they face strong competition from Liverpool and Real Madrid. Bayern have set their sights on Guehi as a potential replacement for Dayot Upamecano, whose contract is also due to expire this summer. Any potential move for the Liverpool target could also depend on whether Kim Min-jae remains at the club. Earlier this month, it was revealed that Guehi has no intention of renewing his contract. Speaking to reporters last week, Glasner said, "I think Marc has already told us that he doesn't sign a new contract, so he will leave next year. The club wanted him to stay. They offered Marc a new contract. But he said, no, I want to make something different. And that's normal. And for us, it's how we can deal with this situation. What is the best way to get this next step done? And that's all about how we are talking together." When asked about his future plans while on international duty this month, Guehi remained tight-lipped. Speaking to the BBC, the former Chelsea defender said, "I like to live in the present and I can't be thinking about the future at all because there is a lot of work to do, but also my future is in God's hands. Wherever God wants me to go, I will go, but that will be taken care of at the end of the season. As long as I'm playing well and helping Palace, there's definitely an opportunity for me to be here as I am today." Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe. Our second news is it's unanimous. Liverpool star regrets summer move and deal could be cancelled. Everyone is in agreement a Liverpool star made the wrong decision with his summer transfer, and a recent report from a trusted source has confirmed the deal could be cancelled. Much was made of Liverpool's lavish summer spending, with over £320 million spent just on new forwards. However, it's important to remember Liverpool recouped sizable sums from player sales, many of which involved homegrown stars, meaning the proceeds were logged as pure profit on the books. Among those to fit that billing included Caoimhin Kelleher, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jarell Quansah, Tyler Morton and Ben Doak. Harvey Elliott also departed, though via a loan that contains a conditional obligation to buy. And after failing to get off the bench in Aston Villa's 2-1 Europa League defeat to go-ahead Eagles on Thursday evening, many believe mistakes were made. Elliott is a boyhood Liverpool fan and only left the club for the benefit of his career, or so he thought. His minutes were severely limited in Arne Slot's first season at Anfield and the entire purpose of taking flight was to up his game time. Yet Elliott has remained an unused substitute in 4 matches for Villa thus far. The sum total of his minutes for his new club is a measly 167. And with Villa trailing go-ahead Eagles 2-1, manager Unai Emery made 5 changes in the second half, none of which saw Elliott take to the field. It's perhaps even more of a surprise that Elliott didn't start the game in what was a heavily rotated lineup in the first place. The snub has drawn a unanimous response from football fans from all across the spectrum on X. The verdict is in, and according to fans of Villa, Liverpool and even Manchester United, Elliott joining Aston Villa was a mistake. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our third news is midfielder confirms he's ready to join Liverpool first team. An exciting midfielder has just confirmed with his performance that he'll be ready to join the first team soon. At this moment in time, the Reds don't have too many players out on loan. As opposed to last season, when Richard Hughes agreed a plethora of loan transfers, this time around the club's sporting director has been more measured and calculated in his decision-making. There are few players out on loan at the moment who you'd say genuinely have a future in the Liverpool first team. If we are being realistic, there are only two players with genuine hope of coming back from their loan spells and establishing themselves as first-team players. Both of them are at Ajax right now. One of them is Vítězslav Jaros, who is a very impressive goalkeeper and who could replace Alisson Becker as the club's first choice one day. The other is James McConnell, who is a young midfielder very much admired by Arne Slot, and who was regularly on the head coach's radar last season. But while Jaros has had a very impressive start to the campaign and has instantly slotted in to become Ajax's #1 goalkeeper, McConnell has had to bide his time. He arrived at Ajax, still not 100% match fit, and also picked up a small niggle, which has ultimately led to his first start for the team coming on Wednesday night in the Champions League. After an impressive cameo in the Eredivisie, McConnell was given his moment to shine against Chelsea. Former Liverpool assistant Johnny Heitinga opted to start him in Ajax's key Champions League encounter at Stamford Bridge. It would prove to be a difficult game for Ajax, who went down to 10 men very early on and lost 5-1 to a much better Chelsea side. But one of the silver linings from the game will have been the performance of McConnell. He was very active and didn't look out of place coming up against a midfield of Enzo Fernandez and Romeo Lavia. McConnell played 79 minutes in total, winning 4 out of his 7 duels, making 6 clearances and 2 recoveries while completing 87% of his passes, 14 out of 15. Now, while his side didn't have a lot of the ball, McConnell's defensive qualities definitely shone through in this game. Comparing this performance to Alexis Mac Allister's performance against Chelsea, who also won 4 out of 7 duels and completed 75%, 27-35, of his passes, McConnell's showing was not too dissimilar. It's a performance in the Champions League that confirms that McConnell is absolutely good enough to play for the club's first team, and he'll be ready to join when his loan is over. He's one to keep a close eye on. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our fourth news is Man United having doubts about heavily rumored January signing. Liverpool, Man City could step in, Transfer Insider. Manchester United are monitoring a highly regarded central midfielder, but are their interest levels overblown? Our Transfer Insider has revealed all, including why Newcastle could suffer heartbreak yet again. Man Utd's priority with regards to arrivals in 2026 is central midfielders. 1 and potentially 2 new faces could arrive, and their short list of targets is already well documented. Indeed, Carlos Baleba, Adam Wharton, Elliot Anderson, Conor Gallagher, Morten Julmand and Angelo Stiller are all on their radar. Gallagher is perhaps the likeliest of those stars to arrive if Man United are determined to sign a player in January, according to TalkSport. A bid of £35 million could seal the deal, but for now, United prefer a loan approach. If turning to Nottingham Forest's £75m rated Anderson, who the Mirror insist is hugely admired at Old Trafford, Man United will face stiff competition. Team Talk previously brought news of Newcastle hoping to bring 23-year-old Anderson back on board. The Magpies only sold Anderson for £35 million 2 summers ago to ensure they conformed with PSR regulations. Eddie Howe in particular would love to work with Anderson again, but according to Transfer Insider, Dean Jones, Newcastle looks set for more heartbreak. Jones strongly suggested Anderson would favour a new challenge if leaving Forest rather than returning to where it all began at St James Park. What's more, Jones hinted Man Utd's alleged strong interest in Anderson might actually be weaker than many reports are making out. The Red Devils aren't fully convinced Anderson would be the best fit to partner Bruno Fernandes in central midfield. Any hesitation could leave the door ajar for Liverpool and Manchester City to strike. I don't think Anderson would close the door on returning to Newcastle, and there is no issue around that specifically, but the thing that makes me question how likely it is regards the other options he is going to have. Jones exclusively told TeamTalk.at the moment Man United, Liverpool and Man City all seem possible destinations for him, and when those sorts of doors open up, is he going to go back to somewhere he has already played? As a player you surely always want to feel a sense of progression, so Newcastle are going to have to be in a very strong position if they are to enter a battle to sign him and then win it. I have to say I don't think the Man United move is quite as nailed on as some people seem to make out. While he is on their list, I get the impression there are still some reservations about whether he is the ideal fit as a midfield partner for Bruno Fernandes. That's something they continue to explore. Latest Man United news, selection dilemma. In other news, the imminent return of a long-term absentee is poised to give Amram a huge selection dilemma. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ Transfer. Our fifth news is Matheus Cunha, United's best summer signing despite 0 goals and 0 assists. Manchester United's recent trip to Anfield was many things to many people. For Ruben Amorim, it was the chance to pull off an unlikely second league win on the bounce at a stadium which has long served as an arena of pain for the Red Devils. For Arne Slot, it was an opportunity to halt Liverpool's abrupt drop-off in form with a familiar thumping of their biggest rivals. For United forward Matheus Cunha and Liverpool midfielder Florian Wirtz, it was another match to try and get off the mark with a first competitive goal contribution for the club they joined for big money in the summer. The game ended 2-1 to United, leaving Amorim reflecting on the biggest win of his time at United and Slot frustrated with his opposition's game plan. There was no change in the goal or assist column for Cunha or Wirtz, but it was United's Brazilian who came off best in the very specific head-to-head battle neither of them asked to be in, under the radar. The Wirtz comparison is useful only insofar as he is currently the focal point for media scrutiny of a statistically underperforming mega-money star. How he is dealing with it isn't relevant here, but it could go some way to explaining how Cunha has largely avoided being this year's poster boy for having no goals or assists in 11 and 8 games respectively. The other possibility is that the Brazilian's ferocious start to his Old Trafford career isn't quantifiable in metrics, but has already established him as a key man in Amorim's operation. Occupying a spot in any front three, let alone an expensively refurbished United one tasked with addressing a chronic lack of attacking output last season, should in itself be an indicator of potent goal threat or creative brilliance, but the man who bagged 17 goals for a despondent Wolverhampton Wanderers last season is yet to score or provide in United red, and so far that is not necessarily a cause for concern. Passes the eye test. All it took was one surging run from his own half into the Arsenal penalty area on opening day to announce Cunha's arrival as a driving force for United, an injection of intensity into a side notoriously steeped in apathy. And all it took was one sumptuous touch and flick around Ben White in that same match to prove that his flair is razor-sharp, that he is a one-man samba band already upstaging the arrhythmic thump of last season's flatlining attack. No United player has attempted more take-ons in the Premier League this season than the audacious Cunha, and more to the point he also leads the way in successfully beating his man. But arguably his best moment in a United shirt so far came in his own half against Liverpool, with his side clinging grimly to their 2-1 lead. Facing his own goal on the left byline, he doggedly held off Jeremy Frimpong before wriggling past the Dutchman, squeezing past an incoming Wirtz and, almost prostrate. Our last news is Liverpool told to pay over £75 million to complete dream transfer. Semenyo interest growing as Liverpool monitor Bournemouth star. Credit to Lewis Steele for the Daily Mail for the original reporting that has sparked fresh discussion around the future of Bournemouth winger Antoine Semenyo. The Ghana international is in the form of his Premier League career, and it is no surprise that top clubs are circling ahead of 2025. Liverpool Confidential reported that insiders believe the Premier League champions are among several clubs tracking the 25-year-old. As one source stated, £75M is around the figure Bournemouth would be looking for in the summer. For Semenyo, who has 6 goals and 3 assists in 8 league games this season, any mid-season deal seems almost impossible at this stage. Bournemouth would be extremely reluctant to entertain a conversation around selling Semenyo in January, and would only consider talks next summer, reflecting their strong hand in negotiations, rising value and Bournemouth context. Semenyo's surge in output has shifted the conversation around his ceiling. He is not only scoring, he is consistently influencing games with direct running, end product and the physical profile elite clubs covet. As the Daily Mail piece highlighted, Bournemouth are in a strong financial position after significant sales, including Milos Kerkez to Liverpool, and sit fourth in the table with realistic European ambitions under Andoni Iraola. That context matters. Bournemouth have little incentive to sell and would require what one source called an astronomical offer to even listen in January. A fee north of £75 million by the summer is realistic, and that number could rise further if Semenyo maintains his current rate. There is also intrigue around a possible release clause becoming active in 2026. At present, this remains unconfirmed, which adds another layer of uncertainty to how interested clubs might time their approach. Clubs keeping watch. Tottenham and Manchester United tested the waters in the summer but were quoted big figures. Chelsea are thought to admire Semenyo, while Bayern Munich could enter the conversation depending on how their interest in Michael Ollis develops. Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes knows the player well from signing him for Bournemouth from Bristol City in 2023 and still retains good relations with his former club. That personal link makes Liverpool a club to keep an eye on should the Reds choose to strengthen their forward line. Liverpool thought about signing Semenyo last summer but decided against buying a wide forward, not wanting to block the progress of young Guehi. It was a strategic call with academy pathways in mind, although the opening months of the season have exposed a slight lack of depth in the wide roles. Semenyo's profile would complement Liverpool's current forward options, with his ability to play across the frontline, his powerful ball-carrying and his goal output matching key data-led recruitment trends at Anfield. Our view, Anfield Index analysis. Semenyo feels like the type of player Liverpool typically monitor for a year before committing. The interest here makes sense and Liverpool fans should not ignore the connection with Richard Hughes. The current sporting director previously championed Semenyo's signing at Bournemouth, and that familiarity could accelerate discussions if Liverpool decide to act. However, the price will be the sticking point. Supporters may question whether spending £75 million or more on a wide forward is the best use of funds when Liverpool might prioritise a top-level holding midfielder or long-term successor planning for Mohamed Salah. If Semenyo continues delivering double figures for goals and assists, the value case becomes clearer. There is also excitement around Guehi, so supporters will be watching how the club balances investment in proven talent with the pathway for elite youngsters. Many Liverpool fans will be attracted to Semenyo's robust style, pressing work rate and his knack for big moments. If he continues performing at this level, this link will gather momentum well before next summer. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news, rumors, and confirmed deals. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because at LFC Transfer HQ, you'll never walk alone.